Hi everyone, I'm Tracy, your host for Chandler's Channel, and today's session is our weekly reading for September 2nd to 8th. I'm just double checking that, September 2nd to 8th, but we're one day late in posting this, so today is actually September 3rd, but it still does count for the week ahead. And as always, I like to touch back on the week previously and see if there are any parallels to what Whitehawk said. So let's go touch back and then we'll go get Whitehawk for the weekly reading. So for those of you who are here for that, stay tuned. It'll be up. Last week Whitehawk had said that there was going to be an occurrence and we're going to feel pain. We could feel it in our stomach, we could feel it in our nose. It would cause pain, it would be uncomfortable, and it would affect the world. It would affect us. So my take on that is the happening in Syria. The I'll say alleged, because I'm not quite sure if it is being proven by the UN, and they're saying chemical weapons were used to kill something like 1,489 men, women, and children through chemicals. So when Whitehawk said it would affect us all, that very much does, because imagine you kill your own with chemicals, and they would breathe it in, right? They would breathe it in for their nose. It would be uncomfortable. They would feel pain somewhere in their body, in their stomach or somewhere, and they would die. So that is how I take what Whitehawk said for last week, and just absolutely devastating event that occurred. So God bless everyone who's affected by that. Pray for those in Syria. Pray for all that's going on regarding if the U.S. strikes or not, and all others involved. Just pray for peace. Just a despicable thing to do in humanity. Okay, so that was last week, and then another way I could explain that happened, the Syria events, is that last week. I go outside, and my dog's outside, and I'm thinking it's really hot outside, I better bring him in, right? So I go to bring him in, and to my horror, my dog has found a rabbit den. And literally newborn bunnies. They look like mice. I had no idea what he had in his mouth, and these other little, what look like rodents, but they're not rodents, were on the ground. I was just horrified that my beautiful, adorable dog would do this. So after I was able to compose myself, I was able to, figure out to put them back into the den, to help them back into the den, cover them back up. And I made the decision, I made the conscious decision, instead of taking them, say, to our Humane Society, I was going to leave them there, and I was going to let nature sort of take its course. I was going to let Mom clean them up a little, because they didn't look that bad. I had caught them, I guess, just at a point. I mean, there was one that had a little bit of blood, and so I left it. And so to me, that comes across as attacking like one of your own, and attacking helpless beings. And in Syria, that's really what it was, wasn't it? These people were helpless, and they were attacked. So that's another way that it came to me in my own week that this was going to occur. And it will come to you in your life like that, if you just start paying attention, whether you be journaling or whatever. And if I was to write down what my dog had done, the words came out something to the effect of something so lovely and wonderful and adorable as a dog attacks something, newborns, attacks. When a newborn is what? Helpless, right? And so you think of men, women, and children. You're helpless against chemical warfare, are you not? If you breathe it in, unless you have a mask. So pay attention, because that does come to you. Now, the hard part is, okay, is it going to happen in my own life, or is it happening in the world? And that's just something you'll have to investigate on your own by you don't have to go looking for the answer. The answer will find you. You'll just open up your internet page to, say, the world news. That's what happened to me. I found CNN and I went, oh, that's it. That's what Whitehawk meant. And then I was able to correlate what the dog had done with that as well. And some of you may think it's crazy, but once you start to pay attention and become more aware, you'll see how the happenings happen. And you have to walk in confidence. You can't walk being afraid of everything. And I have a lot of experience with that, because a lot of things I do get frightened of. But the thing is, you can't control what is going to happen in life. Like, we could not control that this devastation was going to happen in Syria. You know, so just move forward. I'm just trying to teach you how the universe brings this information to us in various forms in life. So pay attention and don't get worried and don't go looking for it, because if you go looking for it, you're not going to find it and you're not going to get it. It's not going to come to you. I've learned that over and over and over again. So that's just a little insight for you in intuitive work. Work with it. I hope it works. Let me know how it's going. Comment. And also comment, maybe you disagree with the whole Syria thing. Maybe you think something else happened to you in your week. And it also as well could be, it's more than one thing that can happen in the world. For what Whitehawk says, it can have more than one meaning. It can happen in our own life, but it also can happen in the world. So check into that. It's a bit marvels. You'll marvel at it by going, wow, it really does work, and it does. Okay, so let's go get Whitehawk and see what he has to say for this upcoming week. Indeed, he says. What can I say about the week ahead that indeed has not been said before, children? And we're like, oh, not again, not a bad week. I can't take the bad weeks anymore. And he goes, no, children. No, 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 he says. It is not so much that it will be a bad week, as again, he says, it will be a devastating week. My children. I know, he says. I do not want to be the one to stand here and to tell you this or to share this with you, but I must be. And again, children, it will be a week of pain, a week of forgetfulness, a week of weakness, a week of atrocities you've never seen before. So be courageous again this week, my children, as you move forward in your new role. That devastation in the world is occurring and will occur for a little while longer. For we could not allow this monster, and I believe he's speaking about, is his name Assad? The Egyptian, no, Syria. Oh, geez, I don't know my politics. Okay, anyways, I'll let this go. Yes, we could not allow this monster to continue with the genocide, he says. And so he says, we will have to go in. We will have to go in to make amends, to help these poor, helpless, ruthless people. We will have to go in, he says. Otherwise, the genocide will continue. And so, we cannot allow it to be, my friends. So we must go in. So hold on to your hats, children, for it's going to be a rocky week. And I can feel everybody's sadness right now as we're listening to Whitehawk's words. And everyone's just fallen in contemplation about what he's just said, and we're quiet, and just so many tears for the loss of humanity, for the loss of human life that's coming and has come. So then I hear a little girl speak up and go, well, what can we do to help? Yes, he says, what can we do to help? We can lay in our beds at night and we can pray. We can pray for humanity. We can pray that this monster will be upended, that he will be taken down quickly, effortlessly, and remanded into the proper authorities, he says, for his monstrosities, for his atrocities that he has committed to human life and other. For indeed, he says, I assure you, this does not just affect human life. This affects many other life forms as well on the planet, he says. It is airborne, airbound. How can it not affect many other life forms? So the atrocities in apparent form, indeed, do affect human life the most that you see. But you do not see how it affects plant forms, animal forms, ground forms. He says, although this is happening and they think they may have contained it, it is not contained. And he says the disasters will go on for long after this, he says. There will be more, he says, that will happen after this atrocity, he says, for the chemicals that were used. So, oh yes, children, the war may end very quickly, but the effects from the chemicals, he says, have only just begun. So be blessed in your newfound knowledge, he says here, as we walk a week of pain and the unimaginable as to what one can do to his own or his own power and security. God bless, children, he says. Watch closely, for it's coming very soon, if it has not already. God bless, he says. God bless. Pray, pray. And he blesses them both. Thank you, Whitehawk. Thank you, Tracy, he says, for allowing me to speak to these ones about these atrocities. Move forward, children, move forward. Well, there you go. That is our week ahead. As devastating as it sounds, it is what it is. So let's move forward in our life. Let's certainly pray for those that will be affected by everything that is going on, this monster. Pray for him as well. And we'll check back in here next week to see indeed what has happened. Please feel free to comment of happenings that you do find going on in your life. And as always, our Thursday video is Whitehawk's Wisdom, which I previously tagged as topic of the week. And so Whitehawk's Wisdom this week is our monthly reading for September. It is a few days into September, and that's okay because we can see if that energy, when Whitehawk does speak, is actually already here. And then we can check in with it throughout the month of September. So thanks for being here. Comment, share, like, subscribe. I'll see you next time. I'm Tracy for a Chandler's Channel. God bless.